Thank you for checking out the RandCorp YouTube channel. I'm excited today to bring you the video. We're hot off an interview with Shayne Mullen from Blockify. Blockify is a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency financial institution. We found them by using their interest-bearing Bitcoin savings account. We hold our Bitcoin in their savings account and earn 6% APY. They also have other products such as loans that you can take out using your cryptocurrencies as collateral, as well as cryptocurrency trading. And we're going to speak about in the interview here about a new product coming out this next quarter or by the beginning of 2021. We're excited to get it in our hands. I cannot wait to bring that product to you and do another interview. If you like what you see here, there's going to be a link below in the description where you can sign up for Blockify. Please use that link. It really helps the channel. If you'd love to help spread the word about the channel, want to see more of these videos, please smash the subscription button down below. And that thumbs up, destroy the thumbs up button to help us with the YouTube algorithms. I really appreciate it. Let's get right into the interview. Hey, Shayne, how's it going?
Man, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, good, man. How's it been?
Oh, we're cranking along here, man. It's been really good.
Nice. Welcome to the stream. We got you on here live.
Yeah, man. It's good to be here.
Awesome. So, I guess we'll kick it off here. I appreciate you doing 10 o'clock right on the dot. This man is punctual here. Introduce yourself a little bit to the stream, like how you got involved with Blockify, where you came up, and kind of who you are. You know what I mean?
Sure, man. So, my career history has been predominantly in the fintech space since, right out of college. I started my career at Bloomberg, where I worked predominantly on mortgages and lending products for, investors on the hedge fund side. Moved to selling hedge fund trading solutions. So I got really familiar with, what is the financial use case for buying and selling lending products? How do investors do it? What tech do they use? It always was really interesting to me, right? The convergence between technology and finance. I ended up leaving Bloomberg and joined a startup called Orchard Platform, which at the time, the VP of sales was Zach Pritz. And Zach is now our CEO at Blockify, which I'll get to. But Zach had hired me right out of Bloomberg, and we had built a data aggregator and marketplace for investors looking to buy or sell consumer loans and small business loans. So I don't know if you're familiar with like Lending Club and Prosper, right, from back in the day, but
Absolutely.
They used to, and you might have even purchased on those platforms, but they had these pretty cool like programmatic. It was ahead of its time, called it marketplace lending, but they had these programmatic platforms where investors could effectively create their own custom model, and then bid on specific consumer loans that fit that model threshold, right? So. You could go out, raise a bunch of money, and then, create a model and purchase loans, and you could do all that through the Orchard platform, right? Which is, the business that we ran. So, we grew that pretty significantly, ended up selling that business to Cabbage, small business lender, in 2018. And that's when I moved out to California, San Francisco, and, started work at another fintech on the lending side as well. It was probably in like 2017, no, probably 2016, when I was working at Orchard. I first kind of stumbled across, the crypto space. I remember back in like 2013, I was reading about Bitcoin on TechCrunch when it was, selling at like, pennies on the dollar. Couldn't really figure out how to buy it. I think Mt. Gox was probably the only place you could actually go and purchase. Was a little worried and scared at the time, so never really jumped in. And then, fast forward 2.5, 3 years later, made my first, investment in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it in terms of the size and scale and the sheer like capacity that would be able to take over the space. But, continued to be interested, continued to build, but didn't necessarily work directly in the space until about 3 months ago at this point, where I joined Blockify and I lead up all business development and partnerships here. So it's been a great ride in fintech and payments and lending, and now I'm deep in the crypto world, and it's even better. It's exciting times.
That's awesome. So when did Blockify come about?
Yeah, it's a great question. So back in 2016 and 15, when I was like buying Ethereum, Bitcoin at a much smaller scale, Zach was actually buying a decent amount of it. And he was always, because he was my boss at the time, we were always talking about it. He was always really interested in the space and always had some form of allocation and a pulse on how the market was going. And towards like, late 2016, Zach wanted to take out a loan collateralized by his crypto, right? Pretty simple concept.
Right.
If you have a portfolio of equities, your portfolio of other assets, you can pledge those as collateral. You can take out a 50% LTV loan. Typical rates are relatively low. You can use that loan for whatever proceeds you're looking to, use it for. And at the time, right, he was going around the street looking for this type of product, and no one offered it. Like nobody. Banks would, laugh at them. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. Funds would just be too expensive, and it just didn't really. There was no like easy retail, quick place to go to access liquidity on his portfolio of crypto that he didn't want to sell, right? Because he didn't want to lose the appreciation value, that was going to happen over time.
Right.
So that's where the business started, and he met Flory, who's our other co-founder. She had a similar, construct in terms of own crypto, looking for liquidity. And they partnered up and they started the company 2017. And the first product was, still a product that we push very hard today is our, crypto-backed USD lending product for retail investors.
So that was the first product you guys came out with, were the loans, was the lending.
Correct. Yeah. The whole kind of impetus of the business was based around how do we provide liquidity to folks who own crypto, right? Because Coinbase and some of these platforms started to emerge, and you saw the tulip in Bitcoin, and Ethereum started to build a little bit of traction, Litecoin, and folks were looking for liquidity, right? If you wanted to put a security deposit down, right, on a new apartment, right, for $5,000 or whatever, $3,000, and you didn't want to use your own cash or sell any of your assets, it's a great option,
right? Because you don't want to liquidate.
Interest rates are low. Yeah, interest rates are like 10%. 12%, right? On a credit card, you're paying like 26%,
right?
Right? On a unsecured consumer loan, depending on your credit, you could be paying up to 30%, right? This is just collateral backed. Therefore, credit history is not as much of an issue, right? Because the loans are the actual collateral is sitting with BlockFi, and the loan is a function of that collateral. So yeah, that business today is going really strong, and we've never actually had one loss on any of our loans to date, which is pretty cool.
And you guys, BlockFi is based in the United States, correct?
Yeah, so we're headquartered in New Jersey, but we have offices in Europe and in Asia.
So do you accept customers from outside of the United States?
We do. Yeah, we accept customers from outside of the United States. Only caveat is you have to own crypto, right? If you don't own crypto outside of the United States, we don't today accept international wires, but we will at some point in the near future.
Understood. Okay, so you guys are based in New Jersey. About how many employees work for BlockFi currently?
Man, that's a great question. The number seems to be going up on a daily basis, but I'll put it in context here. Ready? So when I started, which was about 3 months ago, we were 130 employees.
Right.
Today, I believe we're at just under 300.
Oh wow!
So we've doubled the entire company in about 2.5 months, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, our recruiting team is just lights out.
That's awesome. So you guys are going quickly. And what other products do you have besides the lending? Obviously, we have the interest-bearing accounts.
Yeah. So the whole idea, right, was like, look, lending is kind of the market that we want to enter into, and this is how we're gonna, start collecting a user base, understanding kind of how folks interact with crypto, and start to really formulate like what is the mission, what is the broader value that BlockFi is going to bring to the market, right? So if you fast forward today, 3 years, we really are sitting now as financial services and wealth management for the crypto investor, right? So not only do we want to offer lending products, but we want to offer interest products, credit card products, trading, buying and selling, and then other, type products that will layer onto the suite of solutions over, the course of time. So with that thesis in mind, we do today have 3 distinct products that we offer. First is the loans product I mentioned earlier. Second is being able to buy and sell crypto, so trading on the platform. We support about 8 currencies today and a few stable coins, and we're going to be adding a bunch more in Q1 of next year, so look out for that. And then the last product, which is our flagship and most people use the most because it's the most unique, and I would argue like the most valuable to the investor today, and that's our Blockify interest account. The Blockify interest account is an account where our users who deposit crypto assets into that account are able to earn up to 8.6% APY. We pay on Bitcoin, we pay on USDC, we pay on GUSD, Ethereum, Litecoin. We also pay on Pax Gold, so you can earn interest on your gold, which is pretty unique as well. And we feel that, look, if you're buying crypto and you own crypto, right, you should be earning yields on your crypto, and Blockify is the place for you to do that. So if you own crypto on Coinbase or you have it on, Binance or one of these other exchanges, it's probably just sitting there not earning significant yield. Could be earning appreciation depending on what crypto asset you hold. But we want to be able to pay out. We want to be able to allow you to generate more income, passive income, right, off of your crypto holdings. And therefore, we have a really easy, unique, seamless product for you to do so.
Absolutely, and that's what actually, captured myself as a customer is holding cryptocurrency. I find myself wanting more every time the price goes up, and I was looking, I was holding my money on Coinbase, and all this DeFi stuff starts coming out. All these new, smaller altcoins come out that are paying like dividend type things for holding them, and I've been saying the whole time it seems kind of pyramid scammy to me, those coins, So when I found this, I was so happy to be able to go back into just Bitcoin and deposit it on here with a financial institution that's paying interest and not be looking towards like all these smaller, crazy altcoins that I don't understand anything about or, who drives them or anything like that. And I guess that was one of my questions was like with the GUSD and USDC, like that is holding US dollars. But who's in control of like the account that says there's this many US dollars to the USDC coin? Like, how do I know that there's actually US dollars behind it? And that might be like a noob question on my end, but
yeah, I mean, a couple things there that I can highlight. So, first on the DeFi piece, one thing about DeFi that for me is just top of mind is it's unique in the sense of how decentralized finance can drive pretty significant yields, and we see those yields like all across the board on all these different sites that have been popping up. Now what's not clear to me, right, more specifically, is how those yields are actually being sustained. Right? What's to say that yield of 40% on your DAI or whatever it may be is not going to drop to 3% in 3 weeks because of a stimulus package and because of a correlation directly to the markets. Right? That's the problem that I have with not necessarily DeFi, but some of these protocols that don't have sustainable other ends of the trade. And what I mean by that is on Blockify, the reason why we are so successful and we're doing so well and we have such a great product is because we can drive sustainable yields over time, because the folks that are actually borrowing from us on the institutional side borrow on term, right? They borrow on a 3, 6, 12-month term. Therefore, the rate that they're borrowing at is locked in over time. Therefore, we're able to pay a rate to the retail customer that we're using those assets to lend out over time, right? So if you think about it this way, like fixed versus variable mortgage, right? The DeFi world is all variable. You can't interpret it, right? The BlockFi world, right? The centralized finance world, we have fixed locked in rates, right? So you lock in a rate, that rate is going to stay within some range of where we're at, for the foreseeable future. And that's a huge difference, right? And it's a really big difference too when you're thinking about goal setting, right? And wealth management and, accumulating wealth over time, you want to make sure that your returns are relatively consistent, right? And you're not having to continuously rebalance, et cetera.
Absolutely.
On the stablecoin piece, we support USDC and Gemini USD, right? And those are just one-to-one digital dollars. That's the best way to think about it, right?
Right.
You purchase dollars, you digitize them onto a blockchain, and then you allow for folks to buy and sell those dollars on the chain, et cetera. And we custody those assets with Gemini today, who's large, one of the largest custodian firms in the world, and they've been an incredible partner to us from the beginning. We are able to pay up to 8.6% today on Gemini and USDC. So if you were to open a Blockify account today, all you would need to do is sign up, create an account, today wire funds onto the platform, in a few weeks ACH funds onto the platform, and immediately you're earning 8.6% on that USD, which is in the form of a stable coin on our platform. Right from there, then you have the ability to buy any of the currencies we support and earn yield on those. And then we also have some unique features where, let's say you just want to earn 8.6% on your USD, on your stable coin, that's great. We also offer something called interest payment flex. All right, so if you want to actually earn Bitcoin or earn Ethereum or earn Litecoin and get it paid, that 8.6% you're earning on your USD, you can actually get paid in a different currency. So I have some colleagues and friends and folks who have said, crypto is interesting, but I'm not quite ready to buy, right? Which a lot of people, that's their thought process. And when I say, look, that's fine. Throw your USD on the platform and select Bitcoin as your interest payment flex, and sit back and you'll see Bitcoin just accumulate and mint in your account. You don't have to do anything. Your USD is minting Bitcoin for you on our platform, and I find that to be very unique and a pretty cool value prop.
Absolutely. I guess another question I have that kind of comes from this is we spoke about Gemini there, and you guys are linked with them. Are they I look at the website and I see you guys have a lot of great partnerships. That was definitely something that led me to my first deposit on here. Where are they based out of?
So Gemini is in the U.S.
They are also in the U.S.
Yeah, they're in the U.S. They're 1,200 employees. They've got some really robust systems. They custody assets for some of the largest players in the space by far. And in terms of our partners, I think what's unique about our business is not unique, but just a bit different, right, comparative to other folks in the space is, all the money we've raised is in the form of venture capital, right? So our lead investor, is Valor, who's backed by Peter Thiel, Morgan Creek, which is powered by Anthony Pompliano and Jason Williams, among some other folk. And real prominent, legitimate venture capital investors who invest in large scale, secure, compliant finance businesses that fintech businesses that they see can revolutionize or redefine an industry. So that's something that we really value over here, is the fact that that's how we operate and that's how we're built, and that helps drive really strong and meaningful conversation, because we are not going anywhere, right? We're only going to get bigger, we're only going to get more involved, more robust, and only roll out more effective products for our user base, which we're really excited about for the coming year.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess a question that's also popping up in chat, and it's a question I have as well. How are you guys able to pay in the environment we're in? 8.6% on USD and 6% on Bitcoin. Where do those rates? Where do we come up with those? And how are we so much higher than a traditional savings account, let's say?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Kind of in the traditional banking world, right, the way that most of these companies operate is, you open up a checking account, right? You deposit $1,000 in that checking account, and then those funds from that checking account are actually rehypothecated or just relent out to other clients at the bank on the institutional side. right? So your $1,000 in checking account or a savings account is actually probably making the bank, anywhere from 3 to 6 to maybe 10% APY, and that's what the bank, captures as their revenue. We operate in a very similar capacity, right? So there's tons of large financial institutions, crypto native hedge funds, market makers, exchanges, family offices, the list goes on, who are looking to borrow in stablecoin or borrow in Bitcoin or borrow in Ethereum, right? For a variety of reasons. It could be, levered trades. It could be for, market making. It could be for, financing operations. Like, there's a variety of reasons. And what we do is we effectively, leverage our retail deposits to then lend those out to our institutions, and the rates, right, that we charge the institutions to borrow that money from BlockFi are higher than the rates that we pay our retail, right? So, for example, back to my early example,
you guys live within the margin.
Yeah, you put $1,000 of USD onto the platform. We pay you 8.6. We take your 1,000. We lend it out at 15, right, or 12, and then our spread is, where we make money. Traditional kind of, similar to the likes of how banks do it and how other investment firms do it. And the nice part, as I mentioned earlier, is when we lend out to those institutions, right, it's typically on a longer term period, right? So it's not, overnight, or it's not, 3 days or whatever it may be. And therefore the yields could potentially change. It's longer term.
There's a contracted term involved.
Exactly. So it's much more structured and traditional in that sense. But that leads to sustainability of rates, that leads to better rates, that leads to control over what we are able to support. It's 100% a positive for the retail investor in terms of healthy, stable returns over time.
Absolutely. Then I guess another question I had, and I get this a lot, and it was one of my main questions just kind of looking over the company before I deposited, but what is the reasoning behind like the APY drop if I hold more Bitcoin in the account?
Yeah, I think the reasoning is just we want to provide returns to folks, that are significant based on kind of where our asset book kind of sits. And so what we do as a business is consistently have to match and make sure that we utilize our assets accordingly. And so today we pay a little bit less on larger amounts of Bitcoin on the system, but to potentially down the road that could change. I think the idea is that the larger amount you sit with us, the even though that it's a larger sum, we don't have the capacity or want to make sure that the capacity is in line with our utilization, and therefore have that lower rate. But something that could be willing to change, and we'll see how the utilization goes over the course of the next 6 months or so.
Understood. I would imagine most customers aren't hitting that threshold anyway.
I would say the majority of our customer base, on the retail side, is average accounts are probably anywhere from 15 to 25K, maybe a little lower. So they don't own more than the allotted Bitcoin amount. But then on the private client side, certainly do.
And do you see as more adoption comes, do you think that these interest rates will kind of come more in line with more traditional rates? Do you see them going down or up, or kind of where do you kind of see the future just as we sit today?
It's a really good question. I think, look, when institutions need to borrow assets that are a bit riskier and less in demand, right? The lender has the ability to offer a bit higher of an interest rate just because there's more uncertainty in that market. I think as more and more participants and entrants start to come into the market, right, there becomes more certainty, there becomes a little bit less risk, and therefore the appetite for paying yield as an institutional investor starts to right, the yield starts to decrease a bit. So, I would say in the short term, rates aren't going to go anywhere, but as more competition comes into the space, and anytime more competition comes in, yields start to compress. You might see, yields dropping, small amounts, but
Right.
we'll never have a circumstance where it's a significant drop. It's always going to be, well in advance and compress at a sustainable clip.
Understood. And I like that you touched on rehypothecation. I just learned what that was last night doing my research.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know, like, what funds are you guys, are you guys borrowing against users' funds in interest accounts, in collateral lending accounts? How does all that work? How are the funds safe or securitized? Like, how are we secured at that point?
Yes, I mean all the funds are secured within Gemini and BitGo are the two custody solutions that we use.
Okay.
So funds are secured, not going anywhere. Your funds are your funds, right? There'll never be a circumstance where they're not. And we rely on those two platforms to make sure that everything is safe and secure. I do know that, one thing to just caveat, right? We don't have anything like FDIC insurance or anything along those lines because we're not a bank, right? We don't operate that capacity. But Gemini does have, some insurance policies on what they custody. And so, to date, there hasn't been any issues. There hasn't been any hacks or breaches or anything along those lines, but there is a safety net on the side of the custodian, in the event something catastrophic would happen.
Okay. And what about like how Blockfi just gets capital for themselves to run the business? Is any of that being taken out in loans where the collateral are customers' accounts or holdings or anything like that?
Not potentially could have, equity could have been used for, lending on the consumer side in the early days, right? Which most startups do in the fintech space until they mature. But now, yeah, the entire capital allocation flow, right, of our platform entirely is between, retail deposits and institutional borrowing. And then, the equity that we've raised from outside investors is used for
the rest.
Activities.
Okay. That's actually great.
Really
That's great to hear. That's good to hear. Okay, that's really good to hear on my end. That was just one of my bigger questions. And then, so I guess security-wise, when you guys are lending to these institutions, if somebody defaults on one of these loans, what type of security measures are in place? Are they putting up collateral of some kind or some contractual agreement? How are we safe in that regard? And who are some of the institutional, if you can name them, institutional people taking these loans?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, every loan, all the loans that we do are collateralized. So in the event, and same on the retail side, right? So in the event that somebody defaults and can't pay, or the price drops significantly, there are procedures and clauses in place for Blockfi to take the collateral and keep it effectively. So in the event, somebody defaults, well, no one has an issue because we've, collected the funds accordingly based on the collateral they pledged at a, healthy clip above the LTV that we've lent out the door. Right. So that's safe on that side. Same thing goes for the retail side. If we have, prices drop significantly, we'll have, margin calls in place that sell the collateral before, anything can happen in that capacity. So, that's the beauty, right, of collateralized based lending, right, or asset based lending. Obviously, there's an total element of security and storage and custody. And there's also an element of, counterparty risk and headline risk of who you're working with and what proceeds are for and things of that nature. But the default risk is dramatically lower, right? Because you have those assets, and those assets are held.
Yeah, you're holding the assets. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a dramatic, effect on losses, in the tune of like basis points of losses.
I noticed that, and when looking at the borrow section, like the LTV that you make people keep seems, very in line with how volatile Bitcoin can be.
Exactly.
So it seems like it gives you guys plenty of time, if there was a massive drop in the value of Bitcoin to liquidate and, cover any loans that are out there. So, man, what else do we have here? We've gotten through a lot rather quickly, and this has actually been really, really good. Do you guys plan on going public anytime soon? Can other people invest in BlockFi at any point in the future?
Yeah, it's on the definitely. We're definitely having some conversations. We went live with an article a couple weeks ago that we hired a new CFO, Tony Loro. Mm-hmm. He comes from a payments company that, he took public via a SPAC. And so he's got some pretty deep expertise there. So, we'll see how things progress, but the real focus for, the coming months is the credit card. We're launching a Visa-backed credit card that allows you to earn 1.5% in Bitcoin rewards for every dollar that you swipe, right? And that Bitcoin just gets dropped right into your BlockFi interest account. So we're super excited for that. We think that's going to have a great lift in terms of, new products for crypto investors, but also new products for folks who are just learning about the space and want to get involved.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those. My airline credit card is pretty much worthless right now. So
we'll put you on the list for the. I think we're gonna get a couple metal cards going too. So I'll get you on the list for that.
Oh my god, that would be great. What else? Other products you guys got in the works? Anything else you can talk about?
Yeah, today, like ACH, being able to ACH funds on and off the platform, that'll hopefully be going live towards the end of Q4.
Huge.
Credit card, yeah, which will be huge. And that's like, connect your bank account via Plaid, like you probably do on, every other fintech app that you use. We're really excited for that feature. And then credit card obviously is big. And then, from there, we've got a couple other things in the works, but, looking more towards more reward type offerings, and then also some potential payment type offerings.
Awesome. Okay, then just a question as a user of the website. I find myself every morning, I love to wake up, check what interest got accrued, but then I also want to check the price of Bitcoin, and I don't know where to find in USD. Like when I log in, there's nowhere where it's just like, oh, the price of Bitcoin today in USD is this, so I find myself go into Coinbase just to check the price.
Yep. It's a great piece of feedback. We welcome all feedback wholeheartedly. We will be hopefully adding some pricing functionality in the coming months. We've already got a couple relationships on the institutional side where we get live data feeds. So it's just a function of, presenting those to the
people. I've definitely noticed the website has updated constantly in the time that I've been on it, and I see the company growing and making the developments. So I understand it's just a matter of time.
Well, it's 70% of those hires that I'd mentioned that we doubled our product and engineering.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Once you get everybody up to speed, things just start flying out the gate pretty quickly.
Absolutely. There should also be a line chart of your portfolio. I like that, LWC says in the chat. Kind of like how Robinhood kind of shows you the balance going up and down in a more visual
Yeah, there'll be a push towards like enhanced, UX features for retail and institutional client, more specifically like around trading, right, and around ticker price, coin prices, and around performance over time and things of that nature. So all great stuff that we're gonna bring into the platform. It's just a matter of time.
Got it. A good question from chat from Further was, any idea about adding in a feature to help battle Bitcoin or crypto volatility? Like if Bitcoin drops 10%, a feature that would convert you to USD or possibly another coin. So I guess that would be like more trading features down the line.
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. Yeah, like a downside kind of margin protection product. Nothing like that today, but that's something that I'm sure the trading team's got in the works, which we're
Always constantly working on stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I guess let's touch on what's the deal you guys have going on that you emailed me for first time deposits. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that want to hear about that.
Yeah, so we're running a Halloween promo right now. It expires on the 31st, but if you sign up via Rand's link, which I don't know if it's
in chat. Yep.
In the chat, yeah, you can earn up to $275 in Bitcoin if you deposit, a certain amount, bucket it out in the tiering structure. So it's a great way to get started. Open an account, fund it with some Bitcoin, or fund it with some USD, and earn free money. We're all about the promos, all about getting people up and running really easily, and definitely take advantage while it's live.
Yeah, and I mean you can deposit as little as $25 and receive $25. So that's you can double your money right there and get earning.
100% return. First
day.
day.
Yeah, day one. Well done. I mean, I guess any questions for me? Any other questions, Chad? Anything like that? I think we've covered a lot today. It's been good.
Yeah, man. We're here to at some point in the near distant future redefine kind of how banking operates. Right. We want to bring blockchain to the forefront. Right. Bring crypto to the masses. Educate. Provide tools and savings and interest and wealth management, for the long term. So
yeah,
we're really excited to launch some new products and continue to scale, and appreciate bringing me on here. If anyone has questions, just shoot me a follow or a DM or shoot me an email. Easy enough, and we can go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the time today, Shayne. It has been amazing. I thank you for coming out to our smaller channel here, and talking with our community is awesome. That you guys reach out. I can tell. I commented this on Twitter when somebody said it looks like you guys are having fun on your Twitter page. I mean, I can tell that your team is having fun and growing over there and having a great time as this business grows.
It's 100%. It's such an incredible time right now to be in the space,
and it's infectious, man. That's kind of some of the thing that makes me want to get involved in it and hold my money on BlockFi and kind of be a part of it as it grows. Watching it grow has been amazing, and the whole community of employees over there has been not just on the BlockFi account, but your whole team is out there on Twitter making sure they're commenting and involved and everything like that, and it's really cool to see from such a small company. Another good question before I let you go, just one last one. Is BlockFi buying Bitcoin and holding it like Square or MicroStrategy or anything like that? Are you guys holding Bitcoin like on your financial balance sheets or anything like that?
We're not like taking taking cash and going out actively buying Bitcoin, but we do earn Bitcoin, right, from some of the borrowing activities and lending activities. So we actually are making money in Bitcoin in some of those capacities. So yes, our treasury does have
does hold Bitcoin.
Does hold Bitcoin, correct? Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's amazing, dude. Shayne, thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll do this again. Hopefully I can get one of those credit cards in my hands and get rid of this American Express Delta card. And we'll go from there, man. Hopefully we'll speak in the future.
Love it, man. Sounds good. Talk soon.
Thanks, brother.
All right. See ya.
Bye. That was very interesting, chat. I like that a lot. We need to get rid of the Delta credit card now. I think that was I learned a lot there.